Today on the USA News, Israel and the United States reportedly carried out airstrikes against Iran's nuclear sites. How will Iran respond? Plus, incoming missiles to Israel. We've got all the breaking details next.
Hey folks, welcome to the Watchman USA News. A very busy weekend in the world's most strategic and chaotic region, the Middle East. On Friday, October 27th, just after we posted our Watchman USA News here on YouTube, Israel reportedly, along with the United States, carried out airstrikes against Iran's nuclear facilities.
Now, Iran has not confirmed that these strikes took place, but the evidence is mounting that at least 2 Iranian nuclear sites were targeted. And folks, this is a major development because it was not just some low-level Hezbollah operative or Iran's proxies that were targeted over the weekend. The head of Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps is a man by the name of Hossein Salami, who is essentially the second most powerful man in that organization right now and really one of the most powerful men in Iran. He was at one of these sites when apparently the missiles struck and he was killed. Now again, Iran is not confirming that he was killed, nor that these sites were hit. But again, the evidence, folks, is mounting that this is exactly what happened. So first up, what do we know about these airstrikes? Where did they take place? What was the target? And number 3, how will Iran respond? Okay, let's get to those answers right now. Number 1, where did these strikes take place? We're talking about 2 different locations. One was Karaj, which is outside of Tehran, the capital of Iran. There was another site near Isfahan in central Iran. Both of these sites are connected to Iran's nuclear program. And at the site in Karaj, that is where the Fordo nuclear facility is located. And again, this is part of Iran's nuclear program.
They want to enrich uranium there.
That is a big red line for the West, and for Israel, and for the United States in particular. This is why they have carried out these airstrikes. The other site, as I mentioned, near Isfahan. Interestingly, in July of 2025, there was already an attack against an Iranian weapons facility near Isfahan. Not sure if this same location was targeted this past weekend, but reportedly at this underground facility in Isfahan. They were producing advanced drones that would be used by Iran's proxies, like Hamas, like Hezbollah, like the Houthis. Remember those deadly exploding drones that we saw during the recent Hamas-Hezbollah war against Israel in October? Those came from Iran. Iran supplied them to Hamas and Hezbollah. So Iran is actively developing and producing these drones, these explosive drones, to be used by their proxies, no doubt about it. And the US and Israel reportedly are none too happy about that. And that could explain why that site was targeted as well. Now, according to reports out of the region, and remember, there's a lot of conflicting reports right now. Iran is blaming the United States for these strikes. However, there are reports out of the region and coming from officials saying that Israel carried out these attacks, that Israeli fighter jets were involved. Remember, Israel has carried out hundreds of airstrikes inside Syria over the past several years alone, targeting Iranian assets there. They've also carried out airstrikes against Iran, inside Iranian soil before as well. So Israel clearly has the capability to carry out strikes deep inside Iran. In fact, Israel has carried out similar strikes against Iran inside Iran before, so it is certainly plausible that Israel was behind these strikes. What was the target? Well, once again, it was connected to Iran's nuclear program. It was connected to Iran's ballistic missile program. But more importantly, and I think this is the biggest story here, the top guy, the guy at Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps, that elite terror vanguard of the Iranian regime, his name is Hossein Salami. He was reportedly at one of these sites when it was struck. Now, Iran has not confirmed that he was killed in these strikes. But folks, I think it's important to note that the head of Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps has been seen in public very rarely over the past several years. He likes to stay in the shadows. But he is a shadowy figure who oversees the overall activities of the Revolutionary Guards Corps, which includes the elite Quds force that acts very much like a spy ring, a terror vanguard operating outside of Iran. And it's hard to think that the head of Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps would be just at a regular old nuclear site or a drone production facility, so I think it is pretty clear that he was a target in these strikes. We shall see whether Iran confirms that he was killed. Right now, they are saying that he was not killed. But if indeed he was killed, this is a massive blow to the Iranian regime. I mean, look, he is the 2 guy at Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps. Secondly, and I think perhaps most importantly, he is someone who has advocated for the elimination of Israel. I've talked about this many times here on the newscast, but that is the ultimate goal of the Iranian regime, the destruction of the world's one and only Jewish state. And Hossein Salami made that very clear many times, including back in 2018 when I believe he succeeded his father, Mustafa Salami, who also headed the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, and he took over. And he said, look, we want to turn the Middle East into a battle zone, into a war zone, and eliminate the Zionist entity. So, a man who literally advocated for the destruction of Israel, the head of Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps, he is dead, or he may be dead. Again, Iran says he's not dead. But I think the fact that he hasn't been seen in public, no. One, and no. Two, the fact that both of these sites were targeted. She would not be at a regular old nuclear site. I think it is very clear that Hossein Salami was indeed a target in these strikes. So, that's what went down over the weekend. Again, a major development. It looks like Israel carried out these strikes along with the United States. They eliminated, or may have eliminated, the head of Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps. And that brings me to the third point. Number 3. How will Iran respond? Because Iran will respond, they always do. The question is how. How will they respond? Over the weekend, Iran released a statement saying that they will respond at a time and place of their choosing. That is classic Iranian rhetoric, folks. And Iran has carried out revenge attacks against Israel before in the past, when they've embarrassed like this. Back in August of 2023, we had that drone strike against an Israeli-owned oil tanker off the coast of Oman. We've seen Iranian proxies, of course, carry out attacks against Israel since that October 7th war. So how will Iran respond? Well, again, we've already seen the response in a sense. They've responded with rhetoric, which is not surprising. But what can Iran do? Here's the thing. They don't have a whole lot of options right now. As we've documented here in the newscast many times, Iran is reeling right now. They are embarrassed. They were forced to release a hostage. They've never done that before. They've never released a hostage from the clutches of a terror group that was forced upon them. They were embarrassed with that humiliating hostage swap. They gave up a member of their Revolutionary Guards Corps, a close confidant of Qassem Soleimani, the former head of Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps, who was killed in a U.S. drone strike in January of 2020. So Iran is reeling right now. They want to make moves, but their hands are kind of tied right now. I do unthink you're going to see a large-scale Iranian invasion of Iraq or Syria anytime soon. I don't see Iran closing down the Strait of Hormuz. Maybe they will continue to lash out, obviously, through proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah, like the Houthis in Yemen, like Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Maybe they attempt, God forbid, another 9/11 style attack where you see Iranian operatives carrying out an attack on U.S. soil. We can't rule that out. Or maybe they just lay low for a while and lick their wounds and regroup and come back later. It remains to be seen. But needless to say, Israel is on high alert right now. In fact, the mayor of Tel Aviv has declared a state of emergency in the city. Sirens are going off right now in Tel Aviv, and Israelis are running for cover. Why? Well, according to the Israel Defense Forces, they are expecting incoming missiles from Iran and from terror groups backed by Iran, like Palestinian Islamic Jihad, like Hamas. They're expecting missiles to be fired at Israel any minute now. So we'll see if that happens. Certainly Iran has the capability of firing missiles at Israel. They have done so in the past. No surprise there. Folks, keep it all in prayer right now. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for the people of Israel. Pray for wisdom for leaders. A very precarious situation right now in the world's most volatile and strategic region. Keep it all in prayer. If you'd like to go deeper into all things Middle East, be sure to subscribe to our podcast, The Watchman Newscast. You can find it anywhere you get your podcasts. Just search for The Watchman Newscast. We're there every Monday, Tuesday, Friday. We break down all things Middle East. This past Friday, we broke down the Hamas-Hezbollah war and the Israel Defense Forces response operation. Iron Swords is the topic of this Friday's podcast. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the newscast. Till next time, God bless you, and remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the USA News. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an upload. Tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Don't forget to share your thoughts, insights, and in comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.